to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just remind everybody that we are recording, and please turn your phones on to silent. Just to give everybody a heads up, Mayor McCabe is in Albany doing battle with the great state of New York. And Tim Daly, Trustee Daly, who was also at the governor's State of the Union speech, is on his way back. I told him just take his time. Don't need anybody rushing to get back here. So, that being said, Dan?
Yeah, public hearing number 1. Pursuant to Village Law, Section 5-508, Section 3, the Village of Homer Board of Trustees will hold a public hearing to adopt the final budget of the Village of Homer for fiscal year 2021. Further, monies from special reserve and fund balance will be used vested. Police car reserve for a new vehicle at $39,052. Municipal property reserve for local match of a dam removal grant at $50,000. Municipal property reserve for local match of a salt shed grant at $80,000. Machinery reserve for 2 garbage trucks at $110,000. Fund balance for 2 garbage trucks at $110,000. Comments?
At this time, does anybody have any questions or anything that they would like to ask about the budget? We have kept it to a 0.5% increase this year. A lot of these things are kind of placeholders for our fund balance, which we have to have by New York State law. It does not tie us to these things, but it lets the state know that we have earmarked these monies and we're not just sitting on it.
Question?
Yes.
Are you talking about the whole budget or just this first part?
The whole budget was 0.5% increase.
If I could ask a question.
Sure.
If you can't hear me, I'll speak louder. Okay. Under programs or aging contractual,
Yes,
the budget is for 1,000.
correct.
Do I understand correctly, this is for senior activities?
What this is for is, we originally had, I think in the past years, less than that, we had like $400, $500. And what we've been keeping track with the county, as you guys are aware, cut services, certain services. We have a couple staff that would like to do something to see if we can pick up some of that slack on the dates. So they haven't gotten back to us with what program or what the cost is going to be. So what we decided to do was increase that amount. And that's also kind of a placeholder, again, to see what they come back with us, to see what programs they can and would like to do, would be able to do.
Okay. I might mention that I represent the seniors on Recreation Commission.
Mhm.
And we were not aware in the past what the procedure was for explaining how the expenditure of funds were made.
Mhm.
And we understand second-hand, third-hand, so on. That was a concern. If procedures are needed to identify the programs the seniors would like to be involved in, and if there is a needed procedure to document that, we are more than willing to work with anybody that wants us to work with them. And that includes identifying the programs the seniors would like to be part of, as well as a procedure for showing that it was daily funded and spent. So that's
The 2 people to be in touch with is Zach Pollock, our rec director, and Kristen Case, who's sitting in the back. She's in the way back for it.
okay.
So see those 2, and they are your point of contacts for this.
Okay, thank you.
Point of reference on when you talk about procedures, what had happened a long time ago is somebody had a budget for like $1,000, I can't remember, and they went out and bought stuff for $1,500. And it's not in the budget, so it kind of caused some troubles, and that's probably why you gotta have some procedures. So if somehow this all works out, you need the $1,000 to do some programs for the seniors, just organize it through Kristen and Zach, and then you'll get it. We just don't want somebody going out and buying a $5,000 pool table or something.
Yes.
That's all.
Anything else, Ward?
No,
Some of the other highlights is that there will be no increase in water or sewer rates. That'll be flat. We are going to be reviewing them to try to make them more equitable. Funds are being added to reserves for a large snowplow purchase in the future. We're starting to put some money aside now. We've included, all right, so code book has been an issue, which we are contracting with that, and that will allow us to put it online and searchable. So instead of having to keep going to the books, but that is the next project for the next fiscal year. Let's see.
excuse me, so that's been typed and everything.
No. We had it reviewed and we're gonna have to go back and do a lot more. But we haven't forgotten it. We're just bringing in some outside help to push it along. Okay, let's see. Some other highlights is we are adding $20,000 to the water machinery reserves. In the future, we're going to have to replace the water van. We are putting in a program for the football helmets and other equipment to ensure participant safety. I'm sure you guys have heard about that in the news with concussions. So this is part of our 5-year plan to make sure that our helmets are safe for our children. We are also starting in the fire department a reserve to replace the self-contained breathing apparatus, the SCBAs. They have, I think it's a 15-year life expectancy. So we are starting now so that at the end of the 15 years, we're not hit all at once. We'll start putting the money aside now so that we'll have it when we have to replace those SCBAs.
Proactive instead of reactive.
Yeah. Okay. Some of the funds that we had in there were like the dam removal, the salt shed. We received grants, and these are our matching funds, but we can also offset that with services in kind. And that's what we're looking to do, but we have to have the money available in order to move forward. All right. And that, for me, is the highlights. We have a whole bunch more, which our staff put together. If anybody is interested in seeing it, you can take a look at it later. Any other questions about the budget for 2020-2021? I'd like to thank all our staff who spent copious amounts of hours answering questions and putting things together, which enabled us to keep it to a 0.5% increase, and allows their attention to detail allows us to track the money a lot tighter, and allows us to have a better handle for where your taxpayer money is going. So I'd like to thank them.
They did a great job because when we first looked at it, there was a rather large gap that we needed to close. Fortunately, we were able to do that.
By the way, 0.5% is only $6,000. That wasn't even close to the pay raises that were given. So they really did some good work to keep it that low.
So any other questions for the open hearing on the budget? Okay. At this time, I would like to close the hearing. Does everybody feel comfortable voting on this tonight?
I do.
There's nobody, and Tim and Al aren't opposed, so
No.
there's no controversy, so.
If there are no issues with that, I will open.
I'll make a motion to vote on the budget.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Check out public hearing number 2.
Public hearing number 2.
All right, just real quick. Recreation reserves of up to $3,500 will be used for rec desk software maintenance. This is not in the new, this is actually this year's budget. just for maintenance of the software, but for our reservation and everything else for the preparation department.
Open that to any questions.
Portland uses it, it's a very popular software, makes it a lot easier to track who's there, who's paid. You know, it's easy for parents to go online, okay.
And registered.
There's no other further questions on that. I'll close the public hearing and I'll accept the motion.
I'll make a motion to vote on the rec test.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is that all we have for the public hearing tonight? All right, I'll open the regular meeting. First is to approve the minutes from December 11th and December 17th. I reviewed them, I've asked for some changes, they've made them, I am happy with.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now, do we have to do a separate one for the 11th and the 17th, or? All
Yep.
right. So let me rephrase that. I make a motion to,
I'll make a motion for December 11th, which we just passed.
Second.
all in favor? Aye.
I'll make a motion for December 17th minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll accept a motion for the treasurer's
I'll
report.
make that motion. I just got done signing a bunch of bills.
Aye, or second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Report of the offices and filing of written reports, claims report. I do need to talk to Kevin because I do not see a demo permit for the building on Main Street. For those that are familiar, the building directly behind us has been found structurally unsafe and will have to come down. The good news, if there is a good news to this, is that the other two structures next to it are structurally fine. So the building that Three Little Birds Cakery and where Hires Physical Therapy has moved to is okay. It's just that first building. But I don't see it.
They never started it yet.
No, they haven't, but they need to have it posted prior to.
Point of interest, through the year, we did construction costs in the village were $613,000 estimated, maybe more, maybe less, but that's what's on the permit. So we are doing some work to help, the village improve doing things. That's pretty good. I'll make a motion to approve the codes report.
Second.
All in favor, or discussion? All in favor? Oh, wow, really? Not only are you making an entrance, but you're making the rest of us look bad.
So the governor's got more pull than we have.
We just finished up codes, we're working on dog control now. Perfect. Dog control,
So if they got returned to their owners, a few runaways.
Nothing major.
I'll make a motion.
I'll do it. I'll make a motion to accept the dog report.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
DPW? Mike? Are you here for DPW or are you here for fire department?
I guess I'm kind of here with both, so I'll try to answer.
You drew the short straw, huh?
Yeah.
Well, we'll start with streets and parks. What you got for us? Anything you want to highlight?
No, I mean, you've got mixed maintenance stuff too, right?
Mhm.
Quite a few items.
We pretty much have been doing scramble the last couple months, I'm sure, since we came back to work. We got a couple updates. You guys did see the record for the Winterfest banners up.
Yep.
All the stuff on green, we picked up the Christmas decorations.
Mhm.
Paul's good with that, we got them down. Other than that, I mentioned everything else I think we've been doing. So.
And just so our residents know, you have tried to prep the green twice for ice.
Oh, boy.
Weather
Yeah,
and
I threw that out there for you today. I don't know if you saw it, but it doesn't look promising for ice.
No, 50 degrees this weekend and rain, so, all right.
We tried packing it a couple of times, and every time you go down, hey, we go off, so we're not gaining too much ground here.
I'd like to put you on notice or give you a hard time.
Okay.
Fun. Sidewalks here. All right, a year ago, we talked about leveling sidewalks. And you were mentioning that you thought the best way was to come in with a bobcat with a fork and lift them up and throw dirt on them and cut lip down. And I'm guessing you probably were so busy you never did any of them, right?
No.
No. You did some. You did fix some sidewalks.
We did fix some sidewalks, correct?
Okay.
And then I had held, not to interrupt you, but I held on Maple and Elm Key because of the gas company, because there's several there that need to take.
I'm not arguing about doing it. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to set you up for more work. So what I wanted to do is find out kind of what your estimate is for a section. I don't know, is a section or 4 feet by 6 feet? How are those things normally?
4 by 4.
4 by 4, so
4 by 5.
I used to think 4 by 4, if you had Tom Kyle or Koch or somebody, it was like $600 to replace one. Is that about right? Is that too high, too low? And what does it cost you?
I mean, Buzz has been involved in that too. The ones we did this year, I mean, I had everybody involved and it's not, I mean, it's not that big of a deal for us to do during summer.
But, but if you had 8 guys at so much an hour and a rental on a truck, if you actually came back with what it cost, the only reason I'm asking is, I'll bring it up again, is that mud jacking idea. The level, and I know you kind of poo-pooed it a little bit, but just want you to think about it, because what would it cost to do some of that? Maybe some you have to pull out with the tines and cut, but others could be just lifted maybe. And, and you can, not that I want you to buy a set, but I talked to the guys out in Michigan and they would sell us a trailer, 16-footer with all equipment in it for $50,000. Now, we wouldn't need it all year round. You could actually rent the guys from Syracuse who actually do it, and they actually have a video doing it, where they drill a hole through and they put the polyurethane in and they lift it up.
Do you have the number of these companies?
Of course I do.
Okay.
That's what I do. I think about this stuff. No, I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just wondering, can I help somehow?
I think I'd
Because
like
the
to
sidewalks are
see
killing
them
us.
do one and see how it works out.
They would probably be glad to do some demos.
Every guy started on one end and next nail and go to the other.
I know Nixon needs some help.
Yeah, because you can make it kind of like a curve or just lift in individual pieces. And it's just a little 1-inch hole, and then you could fill that with the shirtcrete or something.
We'll get together and if you got the contact, I'd like to see them come down this spring.
Well, it's Syracuse, and you just and they could do it. And they're the same guys that actually, it's just a different nozzle that actually put that spray foam in your house.
Yeah.
And so you wouldn't need them
I
maybe
watched the video of that.
2 weeks or
It
something.
is a pretty good deal, so.
It might do a lot to help. I don't know. Hey, just another project to think about. All right, Coach, I'm done. No, that was it.
Mike, Christmas trees?
We have been collecting Christmas trees since December 26th,
Okay.
and we'll go right through the end of the month, so.
Okay.
No, I thought you did good on it.
And then I see you guys are working on the 5 and 10-year plans for vehicle replacement for all the departments.
Yes.
So that again just goes, we're trying to get ahead of some of these things.
Yes.
I'll entertain a motion for the
I would just
DPW.
like to make one comment though, that Mike, I know you get a lot of grief sometimes, but you guys do a fantastic job.
Yes, they do.
We don't really get the grief, it's just the phone calls and concerned citizens, and I have to interpret it like that. It has me wound right up all the time, that.
Well, you may not always hear it, so thank you. And I'll entertain a motion to accept street and parks.
That's my part.
I'll second that.
What, Tracy?
Discussion? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. At this point, I'm going to go slightly out of order here. Chief, Police Department,
Yes, sir.
anything you want to?
We have Winterfest coming up, 24th, 25th, planning on the parade, Saturday the 25th. Line person's coming Friday to replace 3 of my computers.
Yes.
So,
I have a question. How's Mr. Huddleston doing? Is he back?
he's been transferred back to Portland. He's at Portland again now. Thank you.
Anything else, Chief?
That's about it.
Does any of our residents have anything that they want to ask the chief? Any concerns about the new upcoming, with all the new changes with the bail reform? Okay. All right, I'll
I'll make a
entertain,
motion to accept the police report as written.
I get a second? I'll second. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Thanks, Chief. Going back to fire. Want to give Mike a break there.
He doesn't need a break.
I don't have Alan's report, so you guys, if you got a question on that, I saw him briefly today for a couple minutes.
Any, I know there was a question about the new truck.
Yep.
Did you get that resolved?
He has a quote and he wants to get up with you, I think, the quote on the changes, and what we forgot.
Mhm.
Yeah, he has that, but we were gonna wait to the department head meeting to talk with him about that.
Okay. How much is that going to slow down delivery?
I don't foresee it slowing down anything right now. I mean, they got plenty to do right now.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I'll entertain a motion for the fire report.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Alright. Nick?
Fire inspector?
Anything for fire inspector?
No, not too much. Got some training scheduled and whatnot, so I did one consultation for the fire department this last month, but other than that.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Discussion?
Since there's no written report, I don't know why we're doing this, but, oh, there is.
There is.
All right, yes. All good, yes.
Oh!
We just
I
finished.
make a motion that we reopen the fire report.
Scrutinize it.
Look. Yeah.
Okay, come on, you're all done.
Is this at 6 or 6:30?
6.
I get confused between that and the planning board. We gotta cut this. You're right on time. No, I'm not.
All right. Did we get, need a vote? I have a motion, have a second on fire inspector's report. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Wait, all right.
I do have one thing, that's, the 25th, I think it is of this month, it's the Saturday of Winterfest. We have a young man from Onondaga County, Joey ABT, I think is the way the last name. Yeah. He's enamored with fire departments, and he's trying to see as many as he can within New York State. So I was contacted about him coming down here. We had a date set up. I couldn't make it because he got invited to something that was more important than just come visiting home. So anyhow, we rearranged it. So if they're going to be here this Saturday of the
Winterfest.
So we have offered them breakfast. And then we're having a shirt made for him. We've got a couple of old helmets that we can't use anymore that are out of date, so we either, I'll dispose of them. We're gonna see about giving him one of those. I told him he could ride in the fire truck in the parade, and then look at the fire station. So if any of the rest of the folks for the village may be around, that day, it's a pretty big thing for this kid. He's autistic and just loves fire departments, so.
Awesome.
Yeah, we tried to make a kind of a day of it for him if we could, and, so.
We're gonna start out with that, Mel?
They're gonna do breakfast at the community building.
Community building?
Yeah, Post 2's putting on a breakfast, and
We're always
I hope I don't get honked. Only a couple of them said, hey, why don't you invite him for breakfast? And I said, okay, I will. I'm not a member of that company, but yeah, I know there's a couple.
This is my company.
Yeah, or I think it's him and his mother are coming, so for 2 people for, breakfast. So yeah, if anybody wants to show up. Any questions on the report?
No, I think we, Mike answered the question for us and.
Well, it was about the truck, is basically the question they asked me.
Oh.
I told them that we had the update, and we would talk with them after.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Okay.
Still looking like February, March though, so.
All right.
Super.
Okay, well,
Anything else, Bill?
no, I'll change my timing on these meetings.
Chief Pittman is gonna be upset with you.
No, he isn't, he just. So.
Recreation. Just a couple highlights here. New policy for all the rec sports. No parents allowed in the gym during practices. He sent a letter. There's been some issues, but they're taking care of it. So they use this in football and it works well. So it allows the kids to focus on their practices without disruption.
The basketball games this past weekend at Lusk Fieldhouse.
How was that?
That was excellent. My son was a participant in it, and it went really, really well for all our players. There's many schools there, many far away even. So they really utilized all the space in that building, and I think it was a great success. Hopefully they do more of it.
Great. Anything else for Rick?
Nope. We're gonna try to get a rec meeting soon. I was talking yesterday, and there's a couple things that are gonna pop up that we're probably gonna discuss with the board. For that.
Okay, good. All right. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Buzz, I'd say we're saving the best for last, because I just want to make you feel better. All right. Water and sewer report. Anything you want to highlight for us, Buzz?
We got the new computers, the laptops are working, and they're still working, so. Actually, the one we're using for the correlator, is a lot more accurate than the old one.
Okay.
For most of our time is spent trying to get the meters in right now. We are still searching for leaks, so we're gonna be digging one Friday.
Where?
Laura Lane.
Okay, so,
Right on, right across that.
all right, Laura Lane, cul-de-sac, you're gonna be doing some digging. All right.
I also mentioned, a lot of times when we go out, sometimes we go door to door, so
Okay.
people come in, we'll have our tags on, so if they want to check it out.
For those of you in the audience, we have the camera over here, so if I look over there and I'm speaking to the camera, I'm not talking to Tanya. Yeah, I'm talking to the folks at home, right?
Who can send in messages? And we'll try to answer them if they want.
Anything else, Buzz?
No, that's
All right.
New water meters?
Yeah, we're gonna cover that.
That's later.
We're gonna cover that in new business.
I'll make a motion and we accept the report as written.
Second. All, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. All right. Okay, at this point, we have the privilege of the floor. If anybody at this time would like to speak on any matter before the board, it's your time. Anybody?
Going once.
Once, twice, all right. We have nothing under old business. We'll move along to new business. Item A, review and approve retainer agreement with Pomeroy Armstrong and Casulu LLP for representation for revenue anticipation note for the Route 11 grant. Revenue anticipation note is generally shortened to RAN, R-A-N, so if you see that in the future. All right, we have the agreement in front of us.
How many people, did we send out an RFP for this?
No, because we're using, because it's going to be under 5,000, so we don't need to. And the bank actually suggested only them. And
Only
there's,
them?
yes, and there's not many in the county that even do
There's nobody
RANs.
else that can do
No, they do bonds, but not RANs, which is different.
So this was recommended to us by,
First National Bank of Dryden.
okay.
And then I talked to Dante.
So basically, we don't have any choice.
It's up to you.
Well, I don't like them personally, but that's okay. Yeah, it's probably good. Swear at me one day. I know. I'll vote for it.
Does anybody have any, did anybody get a chance to review this?
I'm just now.
Dante, did you see it?
Yeah, Tanya, you know, over it.
Any,
Very standard.
yeah, it
Yeah.
seemed pretty boilerplate. Okay.
There's nothing wrong.
And it's a lot lower than when we did the EFC bond where we had to use a specific council.
Right,
It's a lot lower rate.
okay.
So we need a motion for the RAN?
Yeah, motion to enter an agreement
For the
with
retainer agreement.
Pomeroy Armstrong.
I'll make a motion to accept this retainer agreement.
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Review and approve lease agreement for folding machine with Ed Business
It's not
Technology.
my business.
Somebody else. Disclaimer, this is not this Ed. And I know this will make it easier for our office staff. I know, well, I'm not going to, just talk with one of our residents, so I'm not going to. But this should make it a lot easier for our office staff, especially as they're putting out billing.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Oh, I'm all for it.
I'm all for it.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
We want to do that for the 48-month term, not the 63-month that's listed,
Okay.
because you have a choice.
So we'll make, can you amend your motion?
It saves us a
48.
little over
I'm gonna amend my
$1,000.
motion for the 48-month lease of this equipment.
Kevin's second, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Review and approve time off carry forwards to February 29th, 2020 as presented. Tandy, do you want to give, well, we've got the emails here. Has everybody had a chance to review these? Or do you want Tandy to give a quick overview?
Give a quick overview.
Tandy?
Well, basically, these are work-related reasons. So Kevin, it was kind of in our streets department. He was called to do some work for the grounds in the rec department for Griggs Field. And so what happened is because of all of those projects in Newton Park, he ended up not being able to use a week. So it's just to move that extra week over. He also was one of those that had to be corrected and hadn't been given his time for 2 years. So he suddenly had way more to use than most people. So he was only 1 week short of moving it over. So it's major progress. Devin just started in a new position and we needed the water meters read. So if he had been in his first department, he wouldn't have needed he would have had the time off. And Kristen was here helping Devin when she was supposed to be off.
We have been trying to get our employees to utilize their vacation time. Understand they have accrued quite a bit and we are moving in the right direction.
Yep.
So, and they are making a good faith effort, especially coming in and adjusting their plan. So I feel very comfortable approving this. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we.
Second. All right. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. All right, review and approve budget adjustments. You're up, Tanya.
Yep. So the biggest ones on here you'll notice is removing the garbage truck from the current year and the signs and because we put them into next year's budget. So we can't have them in two. We're not buying 4 garbage trucks. So that's really the gist of those. In the water fund, Buzz needs to buy, besides the meters that we talk about later, a few boxes, because some of them are now on 3 prongs instead of 2. And that's the money in there to cover that. And we have that in our current year budget. And the administrative costs were put in the sewer into the budget.
I'll make a motion, we make the adjustments as indicated.
Can I get a second? Third, discussion? All in favor? Aye. Review of approved personal policy changes.
Do you want to talk about this later or in executive, or do you need to, are you guys fine? This is just because there's employees here. I didn't know.
I don't have any problem with what you have here.
Okay, what we're looking to do is change our calculation of overtime to only hours worked. So if you are on vacation, you don't get vacation and overtime. And that's the gist of all of these, whether it's vacation, sick, holiday, regular. You still get overtime. If you work a major holiday, you would still get time and a half and overtime. But if you're out sick and you end up coming in on Thursday, you wouldn't get paid for being out sick and coming in. You would only be paid for what time worked. You would reduce your time off.
Makes sense to me.
Discussion? Okay.
Nope. I'm good.
Okay.
I make a motion and we accept it as written.
Yep.
Second? Which one's second?
Okay, yep, I'll second.
Discussion? Just did. All in favor?
Aye.
Notification of wait list for compost bins. Kristen? Compost bins.
Okay, so, one of our residents had ordered a compost bin, and she picked it up, and she brought it home, and I guess she shares space with, she lives in like a multi-family, and so the backyard is a small one, and it takes up too much space. So she's wondering if she can get a refund for it. And we do have others, you know, that would be interested in purchasing it. So I'm just asking if that's a possibility for people that's, or at least this person, to be able to bring it back. And she had suggested that maybe somebody else on the waiting list just go pick it up from her, but I don't think that would work. I would rather submit, you know, give a refund and then just.
She didn't start using it yet, did she?
She is not, no.
My
Good
thinking
idea,
is have her bring it back. We give her the refund, you make sure that all the parts and pieces are there, and then we go to the next person on the wait list and see if they would be interested in it.
Okay.
Does that sound amenable to the board?
Yeah, as long as it's not used.
Dante? Okay. All right.
I'll make a motion if we do that.
Discussion just did. All in favor?
Aye.
Right. You got all that, Kristen?
I had all that.
All right. Was that the only thing?
We were noting the wait list,
The
so
wait
the
list.
residents know.
Oh,
I give up. Or do you want me to say what's on there?
oh, yeah, just say it. Well, okay, you're all the way back there, I know. So we already sold all 100 of our compost bins from the first order. And if you have already ordered a bin and have not yet picked it up, then you can come grab it from the village office between the hours of 8:30 and 4:30. Because we have had such tremendous positive feedback for this initiative, we have started a wait list to place a second order. Please turn in your order form, which can be found on our website or in the village office, and $41.77 for each compost bin that you would like to the village office. Point of contact for that is Kristen Case. Of course, anybody at the office will help you. Kristen, when will we make the second order?
The mayor had suggested that we start the list when we get up to 40, 44, 45 to order.
Okay.
to order another 100, so, and we've had quite a few, when we started the list.
It's a good
so-
price. It's an excellent
Yeah.
price.
Yeah,
It's over, to me, it seems like it's less than half.
yeah, I've heard nothing but positive.
It's a great looking machine. All the doors.
All right. I don't think we need to do anything on that, so,
No, that was just informational.
okay, good stuff. All right, approve using water sewer fund balance to purchase water meters. All right, this is, and Buzz, stop me if I stray off the reservation, is that we have been getting these census meters, and you just go, here they are, and we've been doing this by grants. Our first grant was for 262 meters 2 years ago, 3 years ago. 3 years ago. We got that, we installed them. Our second grant for 330 meters. And we are currently within the third grant, we're installing 236 being installed. As I said, we have about 60 left.
64.
64? Okay. We have been doing this in conjunction with the city of Cortland, and they did not get the fourth grant. And we are still about 400 and some odd meters short. So what is proposed is that we use water sewer fund balance to purchase the remaining meters. And that would bring us all up to speed and get the entire village done.
And this would not be in conjunction with the city anymore, right?
No, this is all on us.
Yep.
So,
Well, it saves money and it's,
Well, just wanted a point of clarification. This asked us to apply for the fourth year grant. We did apply for that, we did not get it. So that's where we're at right now.
yeah, that was part of our decision point is if we'd gotten the fourth grant, we would have continued with it, but we didn't.
Right.
So,
And we had set aside money to actually do that grant, so we actually have the funds for this, and we're not using all of it, because we had to set aside more than that
Mhm.
to actually do the grant.
okay. So what we're looking to do is to get approval to use the water sewer fund balance to purchase the water meters.
So I'd like to make a motion on the.
One quick question, but
Yeah.
how do you determine who gets the new one?
Everybody gets it.
Well, I know that, but you divide it up into.
Well, we do sections. We've been working on Burger Drive, trying to get all that stuff sectioned there now. Then we went across to K Street and get down through there, that section.
Okay.
You always get those, sorry, you just can't seem to get them together, but.
All right.
So I'll make a motion to approve using the water sewer fund balance to purchase the remaining meters, is that what you said?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
second,
Discussion,
saves money
they're really a good thing.
and it'll help people. If you got a leak, it'll tell you. It's really quick, good technology.
That's good for both sides.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You're gonna be busy, Buzz. Okay, next. And this is where we've been transitioning funds from Tompkins, which was our bank, over to First National Bank of Dryden. And these next few are letters to do the rest of our funds.
All but two.
All but
We
two.
have to leave the general to cover any expenses for this, and right now, the retirement from New York State pulls it out of a TNA fund. So until that's changed over, which requires some time with the state, we can't close those two.
Okay.
And as soon as that is changed over to First National Bank of Dryden, then we'll close both of them at once.
Okay.
These accounts are actually dormant, so we will be charged fees if we don't close them. The other two are active because they pay the retirement. And at the end of the month, we're charged fees if we don't close them.
So we'll start this one at a time. I'll accept a motion for item H.
I'll make it.
And
I'll
we-
second.
are you okay with us just doing that? You guys can put in the, all right, and that for those out in the audience, that is to approve the letter to close Tompkins Trust Company Newton Waterworks account, withdraw $366,718.55, and deposit funds in First National Bank of Dryden Newton Waterworks account. All in favor? Aye.
I know, but
Okay.
it's the CDBG fund, so every penny.
This is to approve the letter to close Tompkins Trust Company CDBG account, withdraw 3 cents, and deposit funds in First National Bank of Dryden CDBG account. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second,
Me.
discussion. All in favor? Aye.
It's gonna cost us more to close it.
Yeah. All right, J, approve a letter to close Tompkins Trust Company's second CDBG account, withdraw $191,704.56, and deposit funds in the First National Bank of Dryden CDBG account.
I'll make that motion.
Can I get a second?
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Approved letter to close Tompkins Special Reserve Funds account, withdraw $16,105.91 and deposit funds in First National Bank of Dryden Special Reserves account. I'll entertain a motion for that.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next item we have is to discuss and approve changes and dates for board meetings and/or work sessions. I don't want to vote on this tonight because we have Hal that's not here, and I want everybody to take a look at this and really look at it and take a look at our schedules to make sure that there's not going to be conflicts.
We just table it.
We're gonna table it for now, but everybody's got a copy of it. All right. Dante?
No comments tonight.
No. All right, go around the board. Dan?
Just like I said before, I thought the basketball event was really, really good this weekend. It was just so many different kids from so many different schools, and the venue was perfect. I think that getting into this league that we're in now was a smart move, and it's going to be better for all of our kids.
Kevin?
Kind of quiet with the holidays and everything, but I had a couple issues with the recycling.
Mhm.
And I don't have all the answers because that hasn't been set out yet. I can't tell them what I don't know.
Yeah, with the recycling, and we got this from the county, and we made we got stacks of them in the village office, and we'll be putting something out in the water bill as well. Big changes. Did we put this on a website yet?
Yeah,
This-
that's what I was
Yeah.
just gonna say. It's
Okay.
on the website.
Oh, good.
It's under notices, so it's right there for people to get it, and it's also in our trash recycling web page.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for those at home, look under notices on the village website, and for those that come into the village office, you can pick up one of these.
There's two other sheets as well.
Okay.
There's a presentation on the 23rd at the legislature's full meeting with Pam.
Um,
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
I understand the recycling requirements, and why I'm asking is, there is a quick fill container right in front of you.
Yes,
What part of that is recyclable?
none.
And which, none.
Right now, none of it. So now you're making me feel bad. Ward.
Food things. I thought the straw in the top was not recyclable, like the cotton balls.
Previously, that was my understanding as well,
Okay,
but under the new,
I
It-
thought that didn't make sense. to me.
it's,
It's not crunchy
the
plastic.
following items will not be accepted, this is the new one, is, because I know I read it. Plastic or styrofoam cups such as Solo or coffee. And this would be, I think, or fast food containers, plastic clamshell containers, all straws. So
It becomes tricky.
my understanding is that this is no longer recyclable,
The whole thing.
the whole thing.
It's really sad, people really try to do recycling and
Yes.
it's getting less and less and
Yeah.
canned Gatorade bottle. The bottle is recyclable, the cap is not.
Right. Where's it gonna be, Shenandoah?
Legislative chambers, the 23rd, 6 PM, there's a 20-minute presentation by the highway department that oversees the recycling facility. They'll be discussing the changes, why those changes were made, and how they've come to the various things they do over the years.
Okay. Anything else, Kevin?
I just want to thank the DPW for doing such a good job at snow removal, and they picked up my Christmas tree. And thank you guys for doing what you do, because I know you're going to get up a lot of 4 o'clock there this winter. I took a ride with them last year. It was quite eye-opening. They didn't kill me, so that was improvement.
They brought you back.
They brought me back. It was pretty cool.
We went to sleep at you guys.
That's their story.
Good thing you weren't driving.
I couldn't drive.
Sorry,
I know, under the bus. I even bought breakfast for some of you guys. It's okay, perfectly good. No, I'm good. You know, it's just a light month. I just wanted to bug him about thinking about that. You know, lifting, fixing our sidewalks, because I walk on them and a lot of other people do. Yeah, you know, people fall down, break wrists. I mean, if it's $600 a block, I mean, that gives us an estimate to figure out what it would take to do. And we could loan out the trailer if we owned it to Cortland, and they got the same problem, you know, so. Or you could set somebody up in a business, Nick, you know, and then you know, farm it out. You know, there's probably somebody else, you know, a young guy, you know, entrepreneur, and it's $50,000 and it's just a loan. Then I could have been somebody with one of those micro enterprise grants, 35,000. You put 35 in, then maybe some more, and then you got yourself a home business. And if you stay in Homer, 5 years, it would have been free. A couple of years, it might be a good deal for somebody. Just thinking.
Anything else?
Nope.
Kevin already mentioned something I wanted to talk about was the recycling. Just a reminder for your recycling, don't put them in plastic bags in your container and just loose into the green container. Donna, can I talk about the D Street projected timeline for that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. For those that are interested, there's been a project that's going on with, it's called the D Street. It's up past Rob Sand Drive as you're heading north. It's the DeMunn property. Everybody knows it because it's got a telephone pole in the driveway. Here's the latest update on that is, and just so everybody is aware of the timeline and the process, is that it went before the planning board for an initial overview, and that was informal. And they said yes, and it went to the village board in December. And the village board got the overview, and we said yes, send it to county. And county planning board looked at it, and they've got the recommendations, and they sent it back. They sent it back, correct? Is that the?
Yes, Kevin sent that yesterday.
Okay. So now that they sent it back to us, we have 45 days to put forward a public hearing on it. So we've got a preliminary, we've got the date, Kristen, is that the 21st?
Tuesday the 21st?
Tuesday the 21st?
Tuesday, the 21st at 6 p.m.
Okay, Tuesday the 21st at 6 p.m. and it's the public hearing. Now we'll notice this because we just went through this to make sure we get the timeline correct. And the reason we have to do it on the 21st is because once we get it, we have 45 days from our public hearing, or from the, bear with me. Once the village board of trustees on December 11th, we had 45 days from that date in order to have the public hearing. So now we got everything back from the county. We're setting the date for the public hearing, which is going to be January 21st at 6 o'clock p.m. upstairs. At this, we'll see the preliminary development plan. It's a public hearing, so public is welcome and encouraged to attend if they have any issues, questions, or concerns. And from that point, we'll set a timeline with the project. We anticipate after that having an informational forum And that's kind of separate, that's above and beyond, but we want them to come back and inform any concerned residents as to what they're gonna see and what it's gonna look like. After that, they go before the planning board. And when they go before the planning board, they've got to have pretty much all their stuff together. And then the planning board will make a decision, up or down, kick it back for more things. But after the planning board makes their decision, then it goes to the village. And then the planning board has 45 days, and then the village has 45 days. And then at that point, the final decision is made. I know it's a little convoluted, so bear with me on that one.
Yeah, but I would encourage anyone and everyone to attend, because the project is going to affect traffic rather largely, and tax base as well, so if you can.
So, did I hit the highlights there, don't I?
Yes. Yep.
What was the date again?
21st.
21st.
Tuesday.
Should help our tax base in the village.
No doubt.
But, like you said, traffic and other things, so we gotta balance.
And what they'll be responsible for, it's pretty extensive. So when we have that, they should have all those answers for those questions. And if not, then they have to have those answers for those questions. All right. Okay, done that. All right. Last call for anybody from the audience.
Any comments on parking in the village?
Parking in the village. The mayor had a meeting with a lot of the business owners in the central business district. We're working through some things. They've got a preliminary idea of what they'd like to do. They're running it through the business owners to try to make sure things are equitable for those businesses and the new businesses that we have coming in. So I hate to give you, I don't know if I didn't answer your question, Ward. They did meet, they are working through some solutions, and that's where we're at right now.
Just don't have a final yet.
But we are also looking long-term as well. Kind of the immediate is with 23 South Main coming online with their apartments, and there's some issues with the parking behind in the municipal lot behind that area. They're working through that right now.
Is there any discussion about rebuilding?
No, I have not heard anything about that. Not that we're familiar with. Anybody have anything else? At this time, I'm going to make a motion that we go into executive session per section 105 D and H. And you want me to recap, or are we good?
Oh, you're good.
Okay.
He has it, he's gonna read
No,
it.
It's okay.
Are you anticipating a vote after this?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, you were there? I didn't see it.
Okay, how long it would be?
It's usually, we usually are here like an hour and a half to 2. I can call you or email you.
Let's go talk.
I'll just call you on an update tomorrow. I'll tell you I'm gonna get in the paper tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, none of this is,
Okay.
it's not like that.
Okay.
I'll give you my cell number though,
Make a
because I'm
motion
not
that we
coming
move
in.
into executive session.
I need a second. I need a second. Go into executive.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor? Aye.
I don't know how to move it. Oh, wait, it's this way. Yep, the computers are up there.
No, they called me and I told them.
There's one thing I did.
Great. And how much does it cost?
I don't have. But it's fully operational. I tested it.
I saw this move, so that's good.
Yep, he got it brought in, and then I wanted to do a reject with the new part, so I contacted our.
I get up.
And, I took it out back, got everything and stuff, and it's perfect.
Plug Jet in Syracuse and it comes over.
Right, yeah.
Syracuse to do that. In other words, you drill a hole and that's what they call it. Concrete, it's like a 25 mud job. Syracuse.
Come on now.
I'd rather go over to brewery. Something fun. But, you know, that could be, there's nothing, like this in Syracuse. is the-
How is it?
I just need to know your last name, so we spoke on the record.
Not much, life is good. I can't wait for Alan.
Thank you. No camera today.
With our magic.
Trying to get a breakfast.
That gets out.
You got that one.
Yeah. Dirt under their feet, and I don't want to be that. You're talking to two people, and they got hurt.
Little heads up.
Elevation.
The
Reaction.
materials
But we gotta get those other seven.
We're into the
Yeah,
ground.
so they don't go, what the hell's this? We definitely know what we're doing and no man. That could kill a project, they're 9 months old now. We got.
Holy, anything with the recycling law?
My understanding is Charlie spoke on that, and he says he doesn't think we should change the recycling law, because essentially if we change it, we're backing ourselves into a corner where we have to keep getting rid of more recyclables, whereas like Syracuse Haulers is bringing it down to Onondaga County, so I would get stuff with that, as a resident of Onondaga County. So he's saying, why would we change the law? And I don't
I
think
say
they're
we
gonna
keep sending ourselves on.
and I don't think they're gonna change it for now, because now that they're using Burt Adams' Merck facility, because he already did something for the city, he's gonna circumvent that process of bringing his recyclables to the county facility, then the county brings it to his facility, he'll just bring it straight to his facility. So we save on a little bit on transportation costs, but it's not really gonna help us in the end, because the tonnage rate for Adams was more than the tonnage rate for Taylor and garbage services. The facility would burn to the ground because someone tossed a cell phone, and then it caught fire, and the whole building.
Really? That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were just talking about this in Texas County, as far as recycling operations, we were contracting them to do this, and because it burned down, we had to go up to a more expensive place, so no idea how much that's gonna cost us, because we're essentially, it looks like, gonna be on a contractual month-to-month basis.
Junior.
So, it's gonna lay out on paper tomorrow, a couple more questions. and then exactly
What a mess.
He's not a
gonna be, but,
aggressive kid, he doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's willing to jump up and say, just, hey, until the government figures it out, it's all trash. We could save a whole run.
well, Trish is probably gonna talk on that a little at the thing, but she was essentially saying this is gonna push the US to have to come up with material recycling facilities, and for companies to have to find ways to use this material, which will generate economic revenue.
Did you,
Right now, it's
hit
costing us money.
But yeah,
You could save it.
I mean, having talked to the county officials.
He doesn't realize.
Backtracking on some of the things we recycle.
Oh, no, that's actually